Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be covering Grade 10, Chapter 6, titled, How to Make Better Decisions About Your Career. We'll go through the solved book exercises from page 82 to page 90. Make sure to keep your book with you, follow along, and pause the video if you need time to write. Let's get started, one page at a time. Now let's move on to the extended reading section. In this part, you'll read a paragraph and examine how the author develops and contrasts the points of view of different characters or narrators in a text. That means you'll look at how each character thinks, feels, or sees the situation differently, and how the writer helps us understand those differences through the words they use. So open your book to the paragraph, take your time reading it carefully, and see how the character's thoughts and views are shown. Let's see the first question's answer. I found it interesting how the author showed two very different points of view. Maya was excited and curious while her father was scared and worried. This contrast made the story feel more real and relatable. It reminded me that even though people can be in the same situation, they can feel and react in very different ways. I also really liked Hale's description of the scenery. It helped me imagine the place clearly, like a painting coming to life. Now let's move to answer of question 2. During a family trip to Murray, the steep, narrow roads made my father nervous, but I felt excited by the foggy mountains and tall pine trees. I imagined how early travelers might have explored these lands, guided ours in walking through mysterious forests. While my father kept checking the brakes, I enjoyed the cool breeze and the beautiful views. Just like Maya and her father, we had the same journey, but felt very different emotions: fear, wonder, and joy. Now let's look at question 3, which is about using context to understand unfamiliar words. Rickety, this means weak or shaky, like an old bus that might break down any moment. Wispy, this means thin and light, like a small trail of smoke floating in the air. Vista, a vista is a wide, beautiful view, like the amazing sights you see top of a hill or mountain. Paradox, a paradox is when two opposite ideas exist at the same time. For example, in an adventure, you can feel fear and excitement together. That's a paradox. Understanding words like these from the context helps improve your reading skills. Let's move on to the next part. Now we move on to some important language exercises that will help you improve your vocabulary and grammar skills. Part A: Build up dictionary skills. Here, you'll practice using a dictionary to find meanings. Part B: Formation of nouns. This section helps you understand how nouns are formed from other words. Part C: Synonyms. Here, you'll learn about synonyms, which are words that have similar meanings. Take your time to complete these exercises.
Let's now focus on Part A, Build up dictionary skills, a very important activity to strengthen your vocabulary and understanding of key terms. Here are the 5 sample words with their definitions, synonyms, and example sentences. Framework. Definition: a structured set of steps or guidelines for making decisions. Synonyms: structure, system. Example: she followed a career planning framework to choose the right profession. Assumptions. Definition: unverified beliefs or ideas without solid evidence. Synonyms: presumptions, guesses. Example: his assumptions about the job turned out to be completely wrong. Reality check. Definition: the process of verifying information to ensure decisions are based on facts. Synonyms: fact check, reassessment. Example: talking to professionals gave her a reality check about the challenges of that career. Red flags. Definition: warning signs, often negative emotions or situations to be cautious about. Synonyms: warning signs, alerts. Example: his constant complaints during the interview were red flags for the company. Optimal decision. Definition: a well-informed choice that matches one's values and is made for the right reasons. Synonyms: best choice, ideal decision. Example: after careful thought, she made an optimal decision about her future studies.
Now let's move on to Part B, Formation of nouns. Here's the task. You are given a list of words. Your job is to change each one into its noun form. Let's go through them together. Feel becomes feeling. Valued becomes value. Emotion is already a noun. No need to change it. Assessment is already a noun. Framework is already a noun. Reality is already a noun. Situation is also a noun. Negotiation is already a noun form. Conclusion is also a noun. Alignment is already a noun as well. So, as you can see, most of these words are already in their noun forms, but it's good practice to identify them correctly. Let's move on to Part C, Synonyms: word, feelings. Synonyms: emotions, sentiments. Original: her feelings were hurt when no one listened to her idea. Synonym: he couldn't hide his emotions during the farewell speech. Word, values. Synonyms: principles, beliefs. Original: honor and kindness are important values in our family. Synonym: her principles guide her decisions in both work and life. Word, emotion. Synonyms: feeling, passion. Original: he spoke with great emotion about his childhood memories. Synonym: a tear rolled down her cheek, showing deep feeling. Word, assessment. Synonym: evaluation, analysis. Original: the teacher gave us an assessment at the end of the chapter. Synonym: the company's evaluation showed a need for better teamwork. Word, framework. Synonyms: structure, outline. Original: the framework helps students plan their career paths. Synonym: the teacher provided an outline for the final essay. Keep practicing using synonyms in your everyday writing. Now let's move to Part D, multiple choice questions. In this section, you will read each question carefully and choose the correct option, based on the information provided in the main text of the chapter. Take your time, choose wisely, and don't forget, practicing MCQs improves both your memory and your confidence. Now let's go through to example multiple choice questions from the chapter. Question 1. When making career decisions, why does the text emphasize paying attention to your emotions? The correct answer is B. Emotions provide insights into your core values. Question 2. What is the Enneagram personality test mentioned in the text used for? Correct answer is C. Identifying personality traits and motivations. Let's move on to the next set of multiple choice questions to deepen our understanding of the text. Question 3. According to the text, why is it important to consider the impact of your decisions on loved ones? The correct answer is C. Decisions often affect finances and relationships. Question 4. What is the purpose of the reality check mentioned in the text? The correct answer is B. To verify decisions based on correct data. Let's move to next page. Let's take a look at question 5, the final question in this set. Question 5. How does the text suggest putting the pieces together in the decision-making process? Options: A. Ignoring emotions and values. B. Reviewing information discovered and conducting a reality check. C. Making impulsive decisions. D. Disregarding the needs of loved ones. The correct answer is B. Reviewing information discovered and conducting a reality check. That's how you put all the pieces together to make a smart and balanced career choice. Welcome to the grammar section of your book exercises. In this part, we'll focus on 4 key grammar topics: modal verbs, active and passive voice, first conditional sentences, and silent letters. Let's begin with modal verbs on page 84. Now the task is to complete some sentences using the appropriate modal verb based on the context. Let's get started. Now let's go through the completed sentences using the correct modal verbs. 1. She can speak Spanish fluently. The word can is used here to show ability. 2. You should bring an umbrella. It might rain. The modal verb should is used to give advice. 3. You must exercise regularly to stay healthy. In this sentence, must expresses a strong necessity or obligation. We can go to the concert if we finish our homework on time. Here, can indicates possibility. 5. Students must wear the school uniform. Must is used to show that it is a rule or requirement. 6. You may attend the meeting if you want to. May is used to give permission. 7. Students must finish their assignments before the deadline. Again, must express obligation. 8. You can borrow my book if you promise to return it. In this case, can is used to show permission. Now let's move on to first conditional sentences. These sentences are used to talk about possible future events and their likely results. Try creating a few first conditional sentences of your own using the same structure. It's a great way to talk about future possibilities. Let's look at the examples together. Let's now look at some example sentences and understand the function of each modal verb used. 1. She has a test tomorrow. She must study tonight. The modal verb must shows necessity. She has to study. 2. The weather forecast says it might rain later. The modal verb might shows possibility. It could rain. 3. She has a talent for painting. Create beautiful artwork. The modal verb can express his ability, something she is able to do. 4. He will be able to finish the project on time. This also shows possibility. He is likely to complete it on time. 5. You should take permission to leave early. The modal verb should shows obligation, something that is expected or advised. Try creating your own examples using modal verbs to express different functions like permission, ability, advice, and necessity. Now let's move on to next activity of page 85, and that's about the first conditional sentences. These sentences are used to talk about possible future situations and their results. These sentences show us that if one thing happens, then another thing will follow. Practice making your own first conditional sentences to become more confident in using. Let's now take a look at the first conditional sentences exercise. Here are the completed answers. 1. If it rains, we won't go for a walk. 2. If you study, you will pass the exam. 3. She will travel if she gets a vacation. 4. If she studies, she will get good grades. 5. He will not go unless you come. 6. We will build a snowman if it snows. 7. Join the team if she passes the tryouts. Practice creating your own examples using this structure. It's a great way to improve your grammar for both writing and speaking. Now let's practice making first conditional sentences using the given prompts. 1. If she studies hard, she will get a good grade. This means a good grade is possible if she puts in the effort. 2. If they miss the train, they will be late for the meeting. Clear cause and effect. Missing the train leads to being late. 3. If he does not set an alarm, he will oversleep. This shows us how important alarms are in our daily routine. For if you forget your keys, you will not enter the house. Always double check before leaving. 5. If you miss the bus, you will be late for school. A useful reminder for every student. These are all great examples of the first condition. Let's now explore some interesting words with silent letters. 1. K, knife. The K is silent. We say knife, not K knife. 2. P, pneumonia. The P is silent. It sounds like pneumonia. 3. R, February. Often, the R is silent in casual speech. February, uary. Doubt. The B is silent. We say doubt, not doubt. 5. C, seen. The C is silent. It sounds like seen. 6. G, gnome. The G is silent. We say gnome. 7. D, Wednesday. The D is silent. It's pronounced Wednesday. 8. K, again, the K is silent. It's knee, not knee. 9. W, right. The W is silent. We say right. 10. L, calm. The L is silent. It's pronounced cam. 11. P, psychology. The P is silent. We say physiology. 12. C, muscle. The silent. It's just muscle. Isn't that fun? English has many silent letters, and knowing them helps you read better and pronounce words correctly. Keep practicing. Now we've reached page 86, writing skills, and the focus here is on Precis writing. In this section, you are given a passage about climate change, and your task is to write a Precis, which means a short summary of the passage. This activity will help improve your reading comprehension, writing skills, and ability to summarize information, a very useful for exams and real life. In the next slide, I'll help you go through a sample Precis based on the climate change passage. Here's the answer to the Precis writing task on page 86. The original passage talked about the serious effects of climate change, like rising global temperatures, melting ice caps, and extreme weather. It also highlighted how climate change harms nature, animals, and people's lives, and it called for quick action to solve the problem. The Precis, or summary, written in 1/3 of the original length, is climate change is causing higher temperatures, melting ice, and unusual weather. It is dangerous for animals, nature, and people. We must act quickly to protect our future. As you can see, this Precis keeps the main points, uses simple language, and stays clear and focused. That's exactly how a good Precis should be. Let's continue to the next writing skill in your book. In this activity from page 86, we are going to work on a comparative essay, but with a creative twist. The task asks you to read a jumbled story, and then rearrange the sentences to build a clear and meaningful narrative. Now go ahead and read the story. After that, rearrange the sentences to form a cohesive and well-structured story. Let your creativity shine.
So here is the simplified version. The Unseen Hand, a story of discovery and resolution. One day, while exploring an old library that most people had forgotten, I found something strange, an ancient scroll. The paper was old and faded, and the writing was hard to read, but it seemed to hold a big secret about a lost civilization. On it, there was a message made of strange numbers and symbols. I didn't understand it at first, but I felt curious and wanted to know more. I started doing research, reading old books, and looking at ancient languages, star maps, and old ideas. It took many weeks, but finally, I saw a pattern. The numbers matched with stars in the sky, and the symbols matched with special space events. Suddenly, it made sense. The message was not just a code. It was a map that used stars to show a secret location on Earth. With this new information, I started my journey. I followed the clues from the stars and traveled across empty lands and difficult paths. Even though it was hard, I was excited to find out where the map would lead. I felt that the place I was going to would tell me something very important, something that could change how we see the past. Continue from the previous page. After many days of traveling, I reached the place, a hidden room inside an old, forgotten temple. In the center of the room, I found a machine. When the sun reached the exact spot in the sky, the machine moved and opened a secret passage. I followed it and found a hidden library filled with books, scrolls, and tools from the lost civilization. Everything I saw showed how smart and wise these people were. They knew a lot about space, nature, and how to keep their knowledge safe for others to find in the future. I was amazed. Their work reminded me of how powerful human knowledge can be. This whole journey, which started from a simple message, changed me. It made me feel full of wonder. I realized that there's so much we can learn if we are curious and keep exploring. The hidden message was like an unseen hand that guided me. And what I found at the end was a reminder that humans, no matter how long ago they lived, have great potential, and so do we.
Here's a sample comparative essay for the activity on page 87 that compares to novels from the suggested readings in a clear, student-friendly way, including themes, characters, and writing styles. You can adapt it as needed for your slides or notes. Let's begin. Now let's move to another writing task on page 87, the comparative essay between Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Introduction. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll are two magical stories that take readers on exciting adventures. Both have young main characters, strange worlds, and many surprises, but they are also very different in many ways. Main characters. In Harry Potter, the main character is a boy named Harry who finds out he is a wizard. He goes to Hogwarts school and makes new friends. Harry is brave, kind, and wants to do what is right. In Alice in Wonderland, the main character is a girl named Alice. She follows a rabbit into a strange world. Alice is curious, polite, and smart, but sometimes she gets confused by all the silly things around her. Next is setting. Harry Potter takes place at Hogwarts, a magical school with moving stairs, flying brooms, and spell books. It feels real even though it's magical. Alice in Wonderland takes place in a dream-like world. Everything is strange, animals talk, people act silly, and the rules don't make sense. Theme. Both stories about adventure and discovery. Harry discovers his true self and learns about friendship and courage. Alice discovers a world that teaches her to think in new ways, even if it's confusing. But Harry's story is more serious and includes a fight between good and evil, while Alice's story is full of nonsense, jokes, and silly surprises. Let's move to the writing style. J.K. Rowling writes in a way that feels real and emotional. There is suspense, mystery, and action in Harry Potter. Lewis Carroll writes in a playful and funny way. Alice in Wonderland has made-up words, funny poems, and strange characters that make the story feel like a dream. Conclusion. Both Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland are amazing books that take us to magical places. They are different in their writing, characters, and settings, but both help us imagine new worlds. These stories teach us to be curious, brave, and never stop exploring. Let's continue with the comparison table. 1. Main characters. Harry is a kind and brave boy who learns he's a wizard. Alice is a curious and polite girl who explores a strange dream world. 2. Setting. Harry's story takes place at Hogwarts, a magical school. Alice's journey happens in Wonderland, a fantasy dreamland filled with odd creatures. Type of adventure. Harry fights real danger, including evil wizards. Alice faces strange and silly challenges. 5. Friends. Harry is supported by Ron and Hermione. Alice mostly travels alone through her adventure. 6. Writing style. Rowling uses clear and emotional writing with lots of detail. Carroll's style is rhyming, dreamlike, and sometimes sensical. 7. Themes. Harry Potter focuses on friendship, courage, and fight between good and evil. Alice in Wonderland highlights curiosity, imagination, and learning through unusual experiences. 8. Genre. Both are fantasy, but Harry Potter leans toward fantasy with mystery, while Alice is a dream adventure full of imagination. Now let's move on to letter writing, complaint format. In this section, you're asked to write a formal letter of complaint. The situation is, you recently bought an electronic device that turned out to be faulty. To write a good complaint letter, follow the formal letter format. This exercise helps you practice formal tone, clear structure, and the ability to express complaint professionally, an important real-world skill. Here is the complaint letter. Examination Hall, City, the 18th of June 2025. The manager, Smartech Electronics Pvt. Limited. City. Subject, complaint regarding faulty electronic device. Respected sir, with due respect, I would like to bring to your kind attention that I recently purchased a Smartech LED TV model, Street 55X, from your outlet on the 1st of June 2025. Unfortunately, the device has developed multiple faults, such as screen flickering and audio failure, within a very short period of use. This situation has caused me great inconvenience, as I was expecting high-quality performance from your well-known brand. I request kindly look into this matter, and resolve it at your earliest convenience, by either replacing the device or providing a refund. As per your warranty policy, I appreciate your time and attention to my complaint. I am hopeful that you will consider this matter seriously and take prompt action. Thank you for your cooperation. Yours sincerely, XYZ. I hope you found this video helpful and easy to understand. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like the video, share it with your classmates, subscribe to my channel for more educational content. See you in the next lesson.